I'm going to ask you, please answer this to yourself, but I'm going to answer to everyone. How are you feeling this morning? Don't answer me, please. How you going to be feeling tomorrow? Spite of how the weather's going to be tomorrow, the difficulties that we might face, the challenges, trials, that no one is safe from going through challenges, trials, and situations. So how we gonna be feeling tomorrow and the day after tomorrow and the whole week and even the whole month or the whole year? Because according how we feel, that's how things is gonna turn out to be. I'm gonna ask you how I'm feeling right now. And I'm not gonna say that this is a feeling. This is more than a feeling. I'm feeling right now, yesterday, the day before yesterday, the day before yesterday, I don't know how many, I lost count. I'm feeling indignation. I am feeling indignation. And this is a holy indignation. You either are feeling indignation or powerless. We either go along with the worldly program, or we either walk around, live our life with a holy indignation. But indignation alone is not enough. Indignation for indignation to bring result, it have to turn into actions. For indignation against injustice, against evil, against everything that is bad, to bring change, it has to be turned into action. And indignation is not hate, it's not anger. Indignation is a feeling that God gave us, that when we see an injustice, we step out in faith and do something about it to change the situation. So I wake up full of indignation. I go about full of indignation, which is not the lack of peace. It's not the lack of joy, but is the rejection of everything that is evil and not be complacent with everything that is happening around. Indignation is not the absence of peace, of joy, of strength. Indignation that is holy is the rejection of everything that is evil. And especially when it turns into an action. It have nothing to do with age. It have nothing to do with race, with color, with language, with education. But it have much to do between knowing the difference between good and evil and doing something about it. So I wake up full of indignation. And that's what gives me the motivation to fight and not to accept the situation around me that is contrary against my faith and my belief, or not to agree or to be complacent with wrong, with evil. You know, when Jesus went into the temple and he saw the thief, the money changers, the greedy people, the complacent people, Jesus felt a holy indignation. Jesus did not agree with the situation. And because he did not agree, he did not sit down and wait for something to, he did something about it. When he saw the people possessed, tormented, when he saw people misled, he felt indignation. And his indignation was not something that he fought with his bare hands against flesh or humans. He did something about it. He turned into action. He turned into making the difference in the life of everyone he came in contact, because he felt indignation. He walked about life and seeing people oppressed by evil spirit, and he felt it. And he said, not only it's not right, but I'm going to do something. I'm going to free the people. I'm going to heal the sick. So sitting down and murmuring and feeling bad and feeling powerless, that's not indignation. That's being cowardly, fearful. Holy indignation is to do something to change the situation and stop postponing things or procrastinating things or waiting for something to happen when I could do something about it right now at this very hour. So this is the feeling. If it has a name that I feel every day. Instead of feeling powerless, it's a feeling of indignation. Now, let me ask you something. What are you feeling right now? Don't answer me. You know, let me just share something. I was meditating. I was meditating. I was praying. Let's go for those who are on Zoom right now. I want to share something that while I was meditating for such a long time about this. And they might want to search what holy indignation, biblical speaking, means. And you could see there on the screen of your TV, but for those who are on the cell phone that you cannot see the TV, the screen right now, the computer, I want to read this short sentence saying indignation means a righteous anger or strong displeasure on what is unjust, unworthy, or sinful, reflecting both human and divine purpose to moral failings, often leading to judge the difference or to call for repentance. As seen in Jesus cleansing the temple, God's holy anger, or the prophetic warning of God's wrath against evil. It is a holy emotion fueled by love, righteousness, distinct from personal vengeance. Holy indignation is not vengeance. It's not wishing that somebody die, somebody lose their life, that evil goes back to that person. No. Holy indignation is the opposite. If seeing goodness prevailing, if seeing those who are called the least to become greater or move forward. And let me make it clear, indignation is not vengeance. He says, and aims to confront wrongdoings, not just to retaliate. It confront evil. Jesus walked about this earth filled with indignation. Let me just give you a couple of examples that I see here. God's divine indignation is God's anger against sin, idolatry, rebellion, manifesting judgment, but balanced by mercy. You know, last week we were talking about this man that was so evil and killed a lot of people and deserved to be punished and maybe put to death. But when I saw the face of the man, I felt mercy. Yes, this man deserved this. Yes. But when the mercy will be present, because if mercy is not present when people are suffering, it's vengeance. And we have to be very careful, because when we see somebody who did evil and that person is suffering, if mercy is not present, it's not a righteous indignation, it's vengeance. Because mercy have to be present. If mercy is not present, it becomes vengeance. Oh, I wish that one, he got what he belonged. That's not indignation. That's vengeance. Jesus did, Jesus was moved to mercy, indignation. And he himself said that vengeance belonged to God, not to us. Righteous human indignation and holy anger against injustice and dishonor to God. Like Jesus driven money changers from the temple, or Paul called for godly sorrow leading to repentance. So this was the emotion that Jesus felt. That's why he was able to fight. And if you and I woke up every morning and feel sorry about ourselves, but we don't have a whole indignation, then we're not going to do nothing about it. But if we have a whole indignation that through our faith turn into action, the things will change. Things will turn around. Things will, what meant for evil will turn into good. But this is something that we cannot just hear. It must come out of us. As you remember Gideon, let me just share from Gideon. Let me just share from the book of Hebrews. The book of Hebrews, chapter 11:32, talk about that when the children of God were mistreated, dispossessed, attacked, that there was a man who had a whole indignation. That when everybody were hiding, afraid, and not willing to do anything because they didn't want to lose, this man did the opposite of what everyone else was doing. And this man was not strong physically, but spiritually, he was more than strong to provoke not only a change in his life, but a change in the life of everyone that were around him, his family, his neighbor, and everyone around him. And let me just share with you, we could read later on the whole chapter, but I just want to share with you from the book of Hebrews 11:32 to 38. And he says, let me just share from the translation, the Living Bible. Let me just share from a better translation. And he says, what more shall we say? For time will fail me to tell you about Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, or David, Samuel, or the prophet. Those were people that were living with a whole indignation. That even though that everything was against them, they were so indignant that they were willing to do something about it when nobody else wanted to do something about it. And I want to share right now from the book of Judges, chapter 6, 13, verse 14. And book of Judges, chapter 6. You could, those who are there, and soon you could see it there. And let us begin from verse 12. Let us begin from verse 12 so we can get the full content. One day the angel of God came and sat down under an oak in a place called what? Ophrah, that belonged to Jos, the Abiezrite, whose son Gideon was, threshing wheat in the winepress out of the side of the Midianite. The angel of God appeared to him and said, God is with you, almighty warrior. Gideon replied, look what he says. Gideon replied, with me, master? If God is with us, why has all this happened to us? He said, I'm doing what nobody else is doing, but at the same time, my situation is not changing. And he said, where are all the miracles and wonders our parents and grandparents told us about? That sounds like somebody who was very indignant. That sounds somebody that was doing something to change the situation around. And respectfully, he came to God and said, God, if you are with us, you said that you are with me, but if look what is happening. And he said, where are all the miracles and wonders our parents and grandparents told us about, telling us, did not God deliver them of us from Egypt? In fact, is God have nothing to do with us. He had turned us over to Midian. God faced him directly. God said, go in this strength that is yours. Save Israel. Haven't I not sent you? He said, what was the strength of this man? The indignation. And this indignation was turned into an action that delivered not only his family, his neighbor, but the whole city. God said to him, this is your strength. Your strength, your faith is your indignation. It's the fact that when everybody's hiding, complacent, and going along with the program, you are going in the opposite direction and doing something about it. This is your strength. The strength is not that your family is the biggest one in the clan. In Israel, as a matter of fact, his family was the smallest one. He was the youngest one. She said, your strength is not in your muscles. Your strength is not in what you know. The strength is in the indignation that you have turned into an action to change the situation around. Your strength is not that you're going along with everybody else. It's that you're willing to do something about it. That is that you are willing to go against the flow. Let me tell you something. When we know God's will and we know that we are thankful, that we are grateful, that we appreciate, but we know the power of God. We know that God is able to do or go beyond whatever situation around. And when we know that, we have indignation. We wake up with indignation. And this indignation wake us up because that's called holy faith. And this indignation take us every day to fight the lions of life. It turned into action to change the situation around. To face the challenges of life. Believing that God will bring you through.